Oh, my God. I will never forget it. It was, I was, in the beginning, you get paralyzed with checking your email constantly, waiting for someone to pop in there. And I was kind of going through that, and I think I was driving my husband crazy with the computer being on all night and just, waking up in the middle of the night, checking, seeing what's going on. And the first time that someone popped in there, it had to be around 3 in the morning because I was checking. I jumped up. I was screaming. I couldn't believe it. I said, it works. This stuff works. I can't believe it works. And he's like, well, you need to go to bed. We can talk about this tomorrow. I'm like, no, but you don't understand. It works. He said it would work, and it worked. I'm like, I have to find him. You know what I'm saying? And that, for me, was, if nothing else, it was just confirmation that it works. Now, the level to which it works depends on how much more you're willing to put in it. But will someone sign up? Can someone sign up without talking to you? It solved that question in my mind, and it gave it a very definitive yes. And
it's game on now. Let's go.
Yeah. There's no one can tell you anything other than yes. Because regardless of the skeptics, regardless of the hardships or the many attempts and the failures, to have it happen once, all you got to do is just keep doing what you did that time to get more yeses.
Yeah. And how much different is it to then, I guess, train and speak with that person and give them advice on what to do next once you know it works? Instead of saying, well, here's our plan and at some point it's going to work. I mean, how much different, I guess this might be a leading question, but it's because it really was a paradigm shift for me. How much more fun does it make it for you when you can just say, okay, here's exactly where I found you. Let's go back and, let's get you a couple the same exact way.
The word can't really explain it, how much different. For one, your posture completely changes because mentally, psychologically, you have a completely different outlook from that point forward. So when you talk to someone on the phone or even if it's an email, your whole tone in what you're saying completely changes, and now you maintain that leadership voice as opposed to, well, I kind of think so voice. So that in itself changes just subconsciously. That changes. And because of that, people tend to want to know more from you because of the way that you're handling yourself with them. They're not used to dealing with that. They're used to dealing with people selling them on stuff. And when you realize that you don't have to sell them and you just got to kind of show them what you were doing, then that makes the game that much more fun because you're not stressing out anymore. You're not stressing out. And I remember contacting you saying, okay, people are now calling me, right? People are emailing me, they're Skyping me, they're doing all this stuff, and all you said was, now the fun begins. I remember, and that it literally that's what it was. It was just I couldn't believe that my phone was literally ringing. In the beginning, I can't say it was off the hook ringing, but it was ringing. I wasn't dialing out; people were calling in, and that is just a completely different. You just don't experience that too much in the offline world unless you're willing to dedicate 24 hours out of the day to get a phone call. The leverage on the internet is, it surpasses any number that you can come up with offline, and it's just unbelievable how you can do it and reach the world faster, more effectively, and better just by knowing a few little tweaks to, how to work your business.
And in your opinion, how long do you think it would take an eager network marketer to, say they found the right business for them, to pick up on this stuff and see these sorts of results themselves? Well,
I think I was pretty eager, Daegan. So I would give my my stats in a sense. I started officially using the system that I was introduced to by you on March the 22nd, 2008. And I've said it time and time again on different videos and what have you that, and I learned it from you, which was that everything should pretty much be a test. You know, if you go into it with, let me test and see how things work, as opposed to, oh, my God, this is my last $40. What if it doesn't? If you go about it with the other mindset, then, you know, if it works, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I said, okay, I'm going to give this thing 90 days. So that was April, May, and June. By June 22nd, I wanted to see how things were going. And in those 90 days, I felt like I grew so much just as far as being an Internet marketer, being an Internet network marketer, and just being an overall business entrepreneur. So I believe that the results, you know, can vary anywhere in that 90 days as far as like how many leads you get or how many sign-ups you get. But if you give it at least a 90-day period of time, I don't think that you would be disappointed with the results if you compare it to what you got in 90 days in the traditional world.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, it's hard for me to look back and say, well, what if I didn't know what I know now and had to start all over again? But I remember, I mean, for me, all it was finding the right business and then saying, well, I'm going to advertise here. I sent out a newsletter ad, and the next morning there was, I think, 7 or 8 people in my downline. And that's what the game changes to with the Internet.